Hello everyone, welcome again to my channel. So as you can see, we are still talking about writing essay. Writing essay. In the previous episode, we talked about the outline of essay. We talked about the three components of the essay. We talked about introduction, we talked about the body, and the conclusion. These are the three main parts or units of an essay. In this episode, we are going to start with examples of essays. And here in this episode, we are going to talk about the argumentative essay. I told you last time that we write argumentative essay, for example, if the topic has to do with whether you agree or disagree, or when you are asked to give your opinion, for example, or for or against essay, agree, disagree, for, against, or opinion. I told you that when we talk about argumentative essay, you have to present and you have to give what we call argument to defend, or to support. Here, for example, if you say you agree, you have to give argument to support your view. If you are asked to give your opinion, you have to provide argument to defend your opinion. Here, if you are, for example, for a certain matter or against, you have to provide argument to defend your choice, whether you are for or against. Argumentative essay is most of the time 3 paragraphs in the body. This means that you have to provide 3 important argument. 3. Number 1 for paragraph number 1, and number 2 for paragraph number 2, number 3 for paragraph number 3. So I told you last time that an argumentative essay is an introduction. This is number 1. Number 2, the second part has to do with body. And as I said, in the argumentative essay, as far as the body is concerned, it's better to make it 3 paragraphs. This is number 1, number 2, and this is number 3. These have to do with the body of the essay, or we can call them, these are supporting paragraphs. They can be considered as supporting paragraphs, which means to support your opinion, to support your choice, whether you agree or disagree, or whether you are for or against. That's why we can call them also supporting paragraphs. All right, the last one is something to do with the conclusion. The conclusion. All right, the first thing that you have to start with is an introduction. And before, last time we talked about introduction, and I said introduction can begin with fact, question, proverb, or even quotes, or even quotes. Now let's start with question, because questions are always attractive. Are always attractive. So for example, you can start, do you have a cell phone? So this is a question that you can start the introduction with. Do you have a cell phone? For sure, the answer is yes. But do you know that some people say, so here we have the verb say, we can change this verb, we can change this verb. For example, we can use synonyms. So we can say some people say or some people believe. Believe or think. So this is a question that you can start the paragraph with. Now when you start it this way, automatically you attract the reader. You attract the reader. So questions are very important to start with. All right, last time I told you that there should be a link between the introduction and the body. There should be a link. So here you can, for example, say, but for me, cell phones are totally positive. This is your general view that you have to support in the body, So automatically, when the reader reads this sentence, but for me, cell phones are totally positive, here you understand that these paragraphs are about arguments to defend this view. So if you said, for me, cell phones are totally positive, automatically means that you disagree with this saying, with this opinion that cell phones are dangerous. You disagree. So this is an example of how you can write introduction. This is a question that can attract the reader's attention. Okay, now I'm gonna give you some ways, some expressions that you can start the body with. Number one, you can start, for example, with first, because. So for example, you can say first, for me, or I think that cell phones are positive or are not dangerous because, and you defend this statement. Okay, so this is a way to start paragraph. In paragraph number 2, for example, in paragraph number 2, you can say second. This is first, you can say second, I think. So this is for argument number 1, and this is the argument number 2. Again, here you can also say, for example, finally. So here I'm giving you just ways to present the argument, but you need to explain it. Okay, you need to explain. You present the argument in a form of topic sentence and you explain. Okay, so just remember this, you have to present and you have to explain. You explain your view. You explain your view, or you explain the argument. So this is example number 1. Okay, you can also use, for instance, these patterns or these way. For example, you can start with first, I am for, or I am against, or I disagree with people who believe that, for example, or I agree with, etc. And you explain your view in this argument. Okay, also in paragraph number 2, you can say, for example, another reason why I am, for example, for, or I am against, etc. is that. And for the third paragraph, you can say the last reason I'd like to mention, or I'd like to shed light on, is that. Okay, is that, and you carry on. Okay, and you complete that part of you. So this is number 2, as you can see. This is number 1, this is number 2. Let's take another example. You can use, for example, this pattern again. One argument of is. Okay, you can also say another argument of is. The last argument is that. So these are ways to present your arguments. Okay, number 1, argument number 1, number 2, argument number 2, and number 3, argument number 3. Okay, when you finish the body, you go to the conclusion. Okay, to conclusion. So the conclusion you can start it very simply by, for example, to sum up, or you can say, for example, to conclude. So these are again ways to start the conclusion with. For example, here I'm defending my point of view. Cell phones are positive. Here in the conclusion, for example, I can highlight the fact that cell phones, even if they are positive for these reasons, they also have negative sides. Yes, for sure. So this is a point that you can highlight in the conclusion. So the conclusion can be general, and it is a sum up of all that you said before. So this is how you can write an argumentative essay, to give arguments to defend your opinion or your view or your choice, for or against, agree or disagree. Now here, as I said, in the body paragraphs, in the supporting paragraphs, you present, number 1, you present the argument. When you present an argument, you try to support it by explaining and giving examples. These are ways to present argument in the body. Alright, so this is all that I can say as far as this is concerned. In the other episode, we are going to talk about causes and effects, cause-effect essay. See you then, have a good time, and goodbye.